There is news from Tennessee today, and it's good news.
Yeah, it's great news, actually. No positive COVID-19 tests today. This is not the other players that have tested positive. If you've tested positive for COVID-19, you're on a list. You're not even involved. You don't even go to the facility. But the players that have all been testing negative, they continue to test negative. Also, the New England Patriots, they tested negative, as well as the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, those two teams in contact with each other from Monday night's game. So now we have these games that are scheduled, and it looks like all positive news that they will be played. But again, this is just one step towards playing that game. The Titans still need to test negative for COVID-19 tomorrow.
Again, I get it, but I will take good news wherever I can get it, considering what yesterday was. It's positive news because the tests are negative. Before I let these football players have at it here, let's you and I have a civilized conversation.
Let's do it.
What are you hearing from people around the league? There is, I'm going to use the word furious to describe what I've heard from a lot of people about the situation in Tennessee. What are you hearing from people across the National Football League?
So let's just start with how the Tennessee Titans organization is handling this as a whole. From what I can tell and from who I've spoken to at the NFL front office, they've been very transparent with what's been going down, how they've been going about this, whether or not they've been breaking protocol. The league has been investigating them. I reached out to players to find out what happened. Did you guys intentionally go out on the field after you were told not to? And a player told me that they were communicated, or at least they were told from their front office that they could practice, and that their front office was told by the league that they could practice outside. That really the issue here was whether or not they could practice inside a gym or out on the field. And the players just were confused by all this, that this was not malice. They weren't trying to break the rules. They obviously don't want this problem to continue. Bert, I see you shaking your head because it sounds like they're trying to get around it, and they were trying to just get out there to practice. A bunch of frustrated players who haven't been on the field. But, you know, I spoke to leaders on this team. This wasn't just guys, down on the roster. These are guys who were told something, and they went about what they thought was the right thing.
The level of skepticism I'm feeling from my left is extraordinary. Go ahead.
We've seen this during OTAs, right, where coaches say, hey, maybe you guys want to get together somewhere. Kind of, here's a script that you can go by. Here's the practice script. So you're trying to get a competitive advantage, but you have to understand this is a different environment. This pandemic is different. This isn't like a lockout like we had when we got together as players and kind of figured out how to kind of, make sure that we're still getting our plays and our offense is able to grow. This is trying to get a competitive advantage, but then now you're putting other people at risk. I think they should be fined. I think they should be held accountable for what they've done, because it's unfair to the Buffalo Bills to have to play on Tuesday and then play again on a short week. You heard Rob talk about, how difficult it is to come back and try and get your body to heal up and then play again on Sunday. Well, the Buffalo Bills had nothing to do with this, but now they're putting themselves in an unfair advantage, and it's because of the Tennessee Titans' lack of professionalism.
Well, I talked to the Bills. I talked to players about this, and they want to play this game.
Of course.
They look at it as
they're competitors.
This is another advantage. The more time they get to prepare for a 3-0 team, the better. Yes, you have the Chiefs on the back end.
The next week,
they're aware of that. But I haven't gotten a sense from Buffalo that they have a gigantic issue with this. And the league is investigating it. And Bart, we both know, if the league thought something went down that they should not have been doing, a big story here.
Who ordered the code red, Diana? Who ordered the code red?
They would have made Tennessee forfeit this game. And they have not done that, which goes to show you that nothing gigantic was really done wrong.
Let me get Ninkovich into this conversation. And Ninky, we were talking about this morning, about the Bills, who now will have to have their schedule completely augmented here. They'll play Kansas City in what is a critical game on what will be a short week for them, Buffalo, but not a short week for the Chiefs. So there are a lot of things at play here. What is your take?
Oh, wow. We could go a long time on this one. But look, I mean, when I'm watching the Thursday night game, they have commercials. We're all in this together. Safety of their players. We're all in this together. So the problem comes when you see a team have a positive test. It is continuing to spread for the last couple weeks. They haven't been in the facility for 2 weeks. The health and safety of a player, do you think a player not being on a practice field, not running, not preparing to go play football is in a good position to go out there and play and put themselves that potentially you could get hurt 2 weeks, not even running, not doing anything? I think the protocols and the things that the NFL are doing right now, they're just doing it on the fly. They have no idea how to go about this thing. The teams aren't getting the correct information. I mean, we saw the Patriots have a positive test with their starting quarterback. They take a couple days, they push the game to Monday. Then they have another player test positive after the game. who was on the plane with other players. So it doesn't make sense the way that they're changing these schedules. When a positive test comes up, the NFL says game scheduled, games on is scheduled, games on is scheduled. So I don't think they know exactly what to do. There's players that are in the dark on what exactly is going on. And if they were to forfeit Tennessee, if Tennessee was to forfeit, then what, the Buffalo Bills don't get paid for that game? So I just think that the NFL has no idea how to handle this situation, and the players are basically just the puppets.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.